Hi, welcome to the day 4 of Surrogate Surfaces. We start today's session with a trigger based on what Inder you had suggested and contributed yesterday, which is, which skills must an actor possess? You and which skills help an actor grow? Can you hear me in there? So I already welcomed everyone to the day 4 of the Surrogate Surfaces, and I narrated the first trigger. So which skills must an actor possess, and which skills help an actor grow? So can anyone hear me? Can you hear me, New Paradox?
Yeah, I can now. I can. Sorry, I got a call in between and I had to.
Yeah, sure. So I just I don't know if Inder can hear me actually, because I've described the first trigger twice, and there's been no response from him. So I'm wondering if you want to take it forward. So which the first trigger is, which skills must an actor possess, and so which skills help an actor grow?
Okay, now we have to perhaps define what growth means for an actor, and then we can answer what the skills,
The
what the
second part
required
of the
skills are.
question. Yeah, but maybe we can start with the first part of the question, which is the trigger, which is, which skills must an actor possess? Uh, do you think, yeah, we can start with the first part, or do you think we should clarify the whole trigger first?
I think, well, both would essentially answer the same thing. It's the pieces of the bigger puzzle, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
we can
mean,
just.
so growth means basically what helps the actor act better, which is a way of saying what helps the actor act in a way which involves the minimum
Traction.
disturbance, yeah, or noise for him, and maybe also for the audience. So in the sense, yeah, I mean, I'm not really the one to frame the idea of growth here. I'm just putting things out there. But yesterday we had this idea. We had actually in there bringing in this whole aspect of skill that is involved in acting. So we are just going further from there.
I see. But I think we have to step away from the conventional definition of an actor
Okay.
vis-a-vis movies and theater,
Yeah.
right? We're not
Yeah.
necessarily confined to that definition, the limited definition,
Yeah, I mean,
as we all know.
yeah, I mean, because yesterday, that's what I was slightly uncomfortable with when the discussion got into the professional actor acting in formally constructed scenes. Because, yeah, like you're saying, that is not the only notion of acting, and actually, I think it further distracts us from being able to talk about acting in an expansive way, and forces us to, in a way, deal with acting as a professional and social kind of role.
I think Inder brought forth some interesting perspectives and some clarity, in fact, on that, where he quoted a farmer and whether we are talking for the farmer, do we represent the larger whole, and
Yeah, we had some
what constitutes
we
acting and
were
all.
yeah, we were in quite a bind, I think, towards the end yesterday because of what Inder was suggesting, uh, of the difference between someone who has a choice and to calibrate and select what their act should be. I am somebody who doesn't have a choice but is doing what needs to be done.
Right, and that takes me back to the very first day and what Lawrence, that there are many ways to go about it. One is with a script, and then without a script, and then Satya chipped in by saying, yeah, one just acts and then the script automatically appears. So to speak, that meaning appears as we act, right? So the act itself is writing a script. So we don't have a predetermined script which unfolds or we are adhering to here. So
Yeah.
there are many ways of acting per se.
Yeah, but I mean, so all along, all through these days, actually, the notion of script that I have been holding on to is, the essential nature of the act. So, in a way, like, we if we know each other for some time, then we know what our voice stands for, and we will know when either one of us is deviating from that voice, if it is possible, and when one is not. So in the sense, one forms a of pattern of the act, and that pattern of the act is the script for me.
Prayas? Prayas,
Honey, yeah,
do you listen to me?
yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, okay. I just want to clarify because this is very interesting debate. Yesterday, I was just trying to make a distinction, little distinction between, let us say, a term called Baharupya. In
Huh.
society, a Baharupya is someone who is double-faced, who is a
Yeah.
trickster. Trickster, huh?
Huh.
But on stage, the Baharupya is a quality. You
Hmm.
can play many roles, right?
Huh. Huh.
So there is a little departure here. But in life in general,
Hmm.
we see that people are actually using many skills,
Hmm.
which are similar to acting skills,
Hmm.
to sustain themselves, right?
Yeah.
Right. So on the stage, what we are doing, because there's an analogy there, because on the stage, what the actor is doing,
Hmm.
sometimes learning the craft, the skills from the life directly or from a school
Yeah.
to enact certain characters.
Hmm.
Huh? So to enhance the idea of what the character out there must be, or imaginative idea of a character.
Yeah.
Now, what happens is, I'm conscious about one term called trick. In acting, there is a point when we tricks you. Let us say a beggar tricks us on the outside the temple gate, and we give some money because he is not a handicapped person, but he tricks us with his skills.
Hmm.
Huh?
Hmm.
On the stage also, a good actor tricks us. So we become sentimental and we like that. Huh?
Yeah.
So what is the delicate point is that when we are tricked doubly, let us say an actor comes with a particular preparation on the stage, huh, but
Yeah.
suddenly forgets the role or
Huh.
the skill,
Hmm.
and that time what kind of forces take over or tricks the actor also is actually the force which we are actually trying to understand right now. And in life also, when someone is very perfect with particular skills, to sustain himself or herself,
Hmm.
some situations trick the person. Sometimes you make a calculation, but it doesn't work. So something new happens, something which exceeds our calculations.
Right,
That is
but
that.
off the stage in life in general, I mean, which is basically what I mean, what you're talking about. I would think that the construction of the persona that we direct ourselves, right? So in the sense, when we construct who we are for someone or who we are for everyone in general, right? So when we do that construction, isn't that similar to
Acting.
the act of construction? Yeah, of
Yeah.
an act.
Well, I'd like to compare two things here. Now, Inder said Bahurupiya.
Hmm.
Mm,
Now, here intent plays an important role. Now, I could say a person, a married person, let's say, plays multiple roles, not just a married person, anyone for that matter. One could be a musician, he could be a journalist, and he could play husband at home. So you're playing different roles. So you're not necessarily a Bahrupiya. You're the same person with multiple faces, and you take on these roles as and when the situation requires. But that doesn't mean you're tricking anybody or you're breaking your act as a musician or as a reporter to be a father. You
Hmm.
could still be a father and be a musician at the same time, but
no, no, no,
you're
no. May I add here what I meant by tricking is, let us say, it is basically either we are looking at a goodness model. A
falsely
husband,
leading someone into believing something you're not.
no, husband. You see, let us say a term called husband or a
Okay.
wife.
Okay.
So we are basically trying to be faithful to the acting. But I am saying that there is always a possibility of an extramarital affair. That's why the husband tricks the wife. But that is, I'm not saying that is a bad thing. That
Yeah,
is
we're
there.
not getting judgmental, merely different roles that one person is playing.
Additional roles. Number one, we are counting husband, musician, worker, farmer, something can exist in the same person. But I'm saying beyond that also, there can be many faces behind that same person. And yet, the third dimension is that the calculations of the same person can go wrong somewhere. It is this going wrong that something else takes over. That happens on the stage also. This is what interests me actually. When we go wrong, the moment we go wrong beyond our calculations, something takes over. That is what tricks us. That's why I'm understanding. We mark skills. We know the particular skills, and we go on the field with skills that we know that we can play the shots. But something outwits us. What is this? What is that which outwits us? Why are
Well,
the why
we're
the
not.
skills are inadequate?
We can't always be prepared for what comes our way.
Now we come with a
Yes,
skill. Wherever you go with a skill.
but then you can't always be prepared for everything there is on offer, because there are some things which will challenge you. You will be limited regardless of your preparations.
Of course, when a person goes, you see, when a person goes to sell some product in the market, he goes out with particular skills. He has a competence, but something goes wrong. I was watching the film Sodagar. He goes out to sell his good, right? But
Hmm.
something tricks him. He falls in love with another woman, and she is unable to. He actually he immerses in another kind of rasa. So
Right.
his rasa in the market doesn't work then. So
So,
he's not able to understand how to balance the two rasas,
right.
the one with the wife and
Correct.
one with the market, right? So the
So
two
I'd
very.
like to ask another question here.
Hmm.
Is now being genuine, does it necessarily mean that you are to play a certain kind of role all the time? playing multiple roles, well, diminishes your intensity of being an actor, or does it take away from you as an actor?
You know,
Can you
I
not
want
be
to
so
add.
many?
Sorry, I'd like to add to what you said there, New,
Hmm.
about being genuine, because all the while I've been thinking about this, about acting, a musician or a husband, different acts. But the most genuine musician is the one who is bringing out the truth, or the most genuine uh, actor is the one who's actually presenting the self. That's how I feel. Like you're telling the
But
truth.
but you're not deviating from the truth while playing a different role. Husband could be absolutely truthful to his wife and play an ideal husband while he's playing the husband
But
and
I'm
be
not
very
talking
good.
like
And
ideal husband role. I'm saying an ideal, it's not ideal, it is the self. For me, genuineness means the self. Like, I am myself on stage, I am myself with my loved ones. It's the same person, and I'm not necessarily putting on acts.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought we were sticking to the idea that the self is not a static surface. It's
yeah.
only the surrogate of the moment,
Hmm.
Yes, yeah.
Hmm.
right, Satya? So that's so what
I,
you
you know,
seem
I,
to
I
be.
want to go back and forth. I want to go back and forth because for me, the other one where I do see that, but the other part where there is a self which is the one at home, uh, from which you depart from, to me, that is also, quite
Okay.
a valid
Okay.
proposition,
Okay, so
personally.
we have these both, and we have what Inder brought in today, which is the moment of being outwitted. Like, so the actor is tricked by something in his environment, or by something that the other actor some other actor does, or the actor succeeds in outwitting someone else. But what were you? I mean, so I think we have all of these things on the discussion floor right now, and maybe the outwitting and does the the trick, does the trick have something to do with the skill which is required to tackle the trick? So the tricks will play out, but they can be tackled.
Yeah,
And
the trick word is double. It is a paradoxical term. You trick someone, and you are being tricked at the same time. There's basically something you're always confident of what you are saying. Let us say the art actually has something which exceeds knowledge. Our limits of communication are given, but I think that something is always more than what we are able to communicate. That's why the self is very interesting term in the sense that we don't know what we are. We are always something less than the term self or something more than the self term. Right. So for me, the actor goes there very competently and operates particular character or a role with full confidence and operates and has a full communication with the audience. But I'm saying still the communication is not the only part of that situation in a particular space and time. So if that was so, then it would not cross the territories of that proscenium. It goes.
yeah,
It
so
still.
I mean, you are saying that there is also what's needed is also an ability to be able to dodge, or maybe like tackle or dodge
You are
the.
you are you are you are actually dodged by the situation. For example, I am on the stage. The moment I enter into a structure, that's why I was interested in the space and time, and also the architecture where we are. Because the moment we enter into a particular space, it defines us. If we enter into a room, the walls, the roof, the door defines our situation, our position. So we cannot exceed that, even if we undermine what we are. So if we are on the street, there is different kind of situation. So we cannot be the same person who is on the room and who is somebody on the street. So the space and time is very, very important feature here, which actually uh, makes and breaks the communication. But I'm saying, in spite of the entirety of the communication, something else also sits on it. That's what I call abstractions. Abstractions, what you can say refractions, or I say abstractions. But
Yeah. So,
abstractions are always
one of these tricks and one of these dodging movements is, I think, also. So, what Satya was bringing in, the idea of the dual nature of the word self suggests, that one is the surface of the moment, the surrogate of the moment, and one might be something which is more continuous. But so maybe that is a trick in itself. So every time the idea of the self is
yeah,
evoked,
good, good. We
uh,
we we we, we divorce something. Somebody divorces at the same time.
I think Prayas, rather than dodging, adaptation and improvisation is a better term, I think, to define the tricky situation where you're bombarded by a situation that you're not prepared for.
right? Yeah, yeah, right. No, yeah, it's yeah, dodging is too specific.
It's evading,
Uh, yeah,
whereas
yeah.
improvisation is actually confronting.
True, true, true. Yeah. So I think that is a better working term with. Uh, no, but what I was getting at is, maybe the word self is also one of those tricks, which can be tackled only by refusing to uh, you know uh, uh, by only by refusing to represent yourself, so every time the question is, who are you, by refusing to answer accurately, or even attempting to answer accurately, you dodge this thing. Because if you don't dodge it, if you don't deal with it, then you get tricked into
Yeah.
uh, defining yourself unnecessarily.
We are a
You
momentary expression of an infinite unity. So we are not this one thing all the
Exactly.
time.
Right.
That's exactly. See, this is what I'm coming, because there are moments when use silences. Consciously we are using silences. As a mechanism to enhance the ability to communicate in theater, and also in music also somewhere. But I think sometimes the silences are very interesting instruments, because sometimes we really don't know what to do. The silences take over on us because we don't know what to do. It is not about that the words are insufficient, or we don't have appropriate term to describe the situation. But sometimes nothing works.
Sometimes
It is just
silence suffice.
no, no, no,
Suffice.
it doesn't. It's not. It's again a tricky term. Suffice is not the right word.
As
Silence is
in,
actually a
I said
no. Silence is
suffice,
actually
meaning
silence.
it's sufficient, meaning silence alone is sufficient. There's nothing,
No, no, it's not sufficient. Silence is stifling. But we don't have alternative to that.
because
It's not
that's
sufficient.
the eternal truth. The rest is noise. We are
No,
making
no, no,
noise,
no,
whereas the
no,
universe
no, no, no,
is
no, dear, no.
essentially
It is
silent.
not. It is becoming religion then. It is becoming religion. You see, the silence is not. It's not basically the moksha, or the shunyata of it. I'm saying truly that it is the desolation of thought. We are. I'm thinking about Aratu. When Aratu was actually describing it, that we have a desolation of thought. We really don't know what to do at a point of time. It is not that, and at that time when the silence takes over, doesn't mean that we have a peace, or doesn't mean that it's actually a kind of an instrument, or a term. Silence means that it's really deeply, profoundly outwitting the self.
Yeah.
From the entire foundation of the self is shaken somewhere. So so
Yeah.
so
So I mean, silence is the proof that the voice is not able to articulate.
Because silence came way before language was invented, reason was invented. So
No,
what
but
is
in the absence of in the absence of a listener, we don't really know if there wasn't any sound. So, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, that's again.
this is it is actually where silence comes before the sound. No, it doesn't work like that. For me, the entire archival material, which is has two components. One is the legible component, another is the illegible component. Right? We go into the archive and dig and just read some certain things, but there are, at the same time, there are some silent zones, and we are dealing simultaneously with both zones. It's not about the what is the more original, whether the sound is more original or the silence is more original, whether the what is noise and what is the pure sound, music and all that. No, I'm not here interested in the binaries, because nothing works. Sometimes nothing works. It is at this point when nothing works, that is where the language also grows. When actually everything is
yeah, because
closed
the
down.
language is only, I think, a process of finding out what we are, still able to hear. So, in the sense that, we have a vocabulary set for communicating something, and over time, this vocabulary becomes jaded. So, if you use a certain word, it doesn't mean anything to anyone anymore. So, you have to make up new words, or search for a new way of using those words. And that is a process of using language, that you make sure that communication is still possible, because and you're still able to get through.
Hmm. Yeah, you are. I think you're rightly saying it. I'm also thinking in a psychological realm. There's a term called hysteria.
Huh.
When particular situation reaches at a point, a kind of an effervescence erupts. Eruption of an effervescence. A kind of a bout of madness, or which we call creativity, but
Hmm.
we don't know at the time of the effervescence. We don't know how to control it.
Hmm.
That can happen anywhere. That happens. That's what sometimes protests happen. Sometimes the political, revolutions happen. Sometimes something happens. Some fight happens between two schools, two genres of two disciplines in the theater. Like jazz versus classical. Some fight happens, and a new kind of form takes shape. It's a kind of a lava. So the effervescence at a moment of the eruption is not controllable. It is actually this possibility is always there. Now sometimes it is happening in smaller doses, sometimes in a larger doses, but the effervescence always are there, even at the very very micro level also.
But
I am also interested.
what differentiates the hysteria from the mania?
I know mania is also part of the effervescence. I'm
Okay.
saying what you see, what basically our societies are more and more controlled, right?
Hmm.
And the control means that when we understand how to use the language or the words or the laws to control the other. That's why the police and the judiciary and that's why the Foucault comes here. So, but I am saying that within these operations, because the present is quite porous. The porosity of the present enables these effervescence to crisscross, or to keep on puncturing the territories at a very rapid space. We may not notice it at a very visible level or a very audible level, but at a very passive level, they keep on happening. That's why the art happens at a very passive level, in a hyperbolic way, rather than in a very direct way. What happens basically in a language, in a communication. So when you pass on the street, and you ensure the police wala that I accept your rule of law, but you may be having a weed in your pocket, right? So which
Right.
becomes more important than. That's why we are also layered.
No,
We trick the other. The police wala.
you were saying something, which is, that art happens in a, very understated way. But I mean, what is interesting for me is the word happening, in the sense
Good,
that
good, good.
when do we know that art has happened? Because uh, in the logical model, art is supposed to happen only when there is somebody for whom it, is able to evoke uh, something, uh, you know but today, let's say if we let if we but so I think this is related to what we were discussing last time, the refractive surface. So when refraction happens, then we can consider that yes, the surface is refractive. But if refraction doesn't happen and something is claiming to be art, then how do we know that art has happened?
No, it's not. It's not necessary that we should be able to mark every happening. Happenings keep on encircling or just containing us all the time. Happenings are everywhere. No, we are constantly getting transmissions from different sources. There's a very interesting term that sex is not innate but a product. Why I'm quoting this postmodern text here is because we're constantly receiving transmissions from different sources, whether with advertisement, whether television, whether we are food, whether it's a glossy objects which we purchase on the market, and that keeps on stimulating our nerves accordingly. So the idea of what is natural is constantly dissolving into the constructs which we are, right? So we are assemblages or constructs which operate on a relative basis. The moment we are marking our movements outside, inside, wherever we are. The idea is not that what is art, because we have been never able to understand what, or we can never even define what is art.
No,
The
but
only thing
that
is
is
that
not even. I think
that's not the
after
motive.
something already, yeah, after something already exists, I think it's not so important to ask what is it, but because it already exists. So we already have art amongst us. So what is art is a redundant question, but maybe what are the qualities of art? So in the sense,
Yeah, of course, the qualities of art must be essentially for me is if they keep on pacing the being with the multiples of the present, which is actually a porosity of the idea of us. So it's basically strangely terms are going through here, but I think the multiples is me. When we say that we want to arrive at some truth, is actually a lacuna, that we want to arrive at something one. That's what I'm afraid of, the oneness of the truth. There must be multiples of the being which are operating vis-a-vis our understanding of art or life. So the multiples must be
yeah. So
Communicated.
which brings us to
And art ties it all together.
what?
Art ties it together. Art ties the multiples
Art
together, the
binds it together?
parallel multiples.
No. I don't think we can really separate art from life. Yeah, that will be a problematic thing. But at the same time, I'm
no, but
saying that since
how can we look at art as something which is not an act? So as far as I understand today, I think art is only a specific kind of enactment. I don't think it has any way of claiming some authentic experience anymore. It's so why would you think what takes away from the idea of art if you think about it as a kind of enactment, a specific kind of enactment?
Do you know, Prayas, what actually comes to my mind is here about the protests. Because normally when we say we enact a protest, it's a political protest. There, the vocabulary or the tools of protest are very, very limited. Let us say the hunger strike, or directly having some violence, burning vehicles, or having even the guns in the hands against the government, right? So, but the moment we start enhancing the vocabulary of the protests, we start going into the art. And but since the big river of the protest, or the understanding of communication is larger and is contained by a couple of tools in the realm of protest. So the moment I try, for example, when I try to add some another layer to the idea of protest, it is not appreciated. It is seen.
No, but Inder, something which has confused me for some time is
Yeah.
the protest has the why it's difficult for me to hold the protest and maybe the enactment of art together in one frame is this, that the protest has specific or blurred objectives, whatever, but there is some position which is clear enough, which is making you uh, do something, which might be, like you said, going on a strike or lifting a gun or do whatever.
Mm.
And whereas I think the philosophical basis of art
Mm.
might sometimes actually leave you in a position where you don't think anything is worth doing.
No,
So,
I agree with you,
so
but I'm
how are
saying
these
still,
two
I'm
things
still saying that.
compatible? So, how do you hold these
No, no,
two things compatible?
that's why we are struggling basically. This is actually why the dichotomy emerges in a very clear black and white way. Because I think the art is political. Because even if you start making abstractions on the road or even the home for a longer period of time, some kind of a ritual takes over, and that becomes political. But the forces on the ground don't engage with that kind of a process. That's why the art is always isolated, but it is is always part of the larger protest area. The mega protest is always within the artwork. It's not outside. Art is always political in that sense. So even if it is abstraction, it is highly political. So
The politics of doing nothing. I mean, what I'm saying is, if your politics and your philosophical position, your analysis of the moment, if that brings you to a point of really not finding anything worthwhile anymore.
that is anarchist, na? For example, if your position is anarchist, that also is political,
Nihilism,
na?
nihilism.
No, I won't go with the nihilism. Let us say nihilism. I'm saying even anarchist position. Anarchist position is also a political position,
Totally,
and
yes.
art is by and large anarchist. No.
Right.
It is.
So, if, for example, as an artist, if you approve group sex, it will be always political. Even if you don't operate it physically, even if you articulate through text or a poem or a painting, it will be a political. No.
Right. So I think we can go to our second trigger
Questions.
of the day, which is, does the act reveal rather than hide the
Hide.
actor? And if so, how? Right. So how does the act manage to reveal rather than hide the actor?
I feel it basically makes available another facet of the actor, and it does not hide. Now, again, we have to look at intent. Now, if, as Inder was mentioning earlier, if it's a Bahirupia, if it's not the actor's own persona that's coming out through whatever performance, through whatever agenda that the person may have, then it probably hides him. And there he's using the act as a mask to hide what is, right? Whereas if you're performing a certain duty and exposing another facet of yourself, it shows another facet of yourself. So it doesn't hide anything of the actor. So it merely exposes him, if anything. So it does not hide, in my opinion, it doesn't hide. But again, we have to take into account the intent of the action and what the
Yeah, I mean,
person intends to bring about in the end.
yeah, I mean, so I understand the disinhibiting role that acting assumes. So, which in the sense, so if you're disinhibited by being, let's say, by obscuring your identity through an act or whatever, through a construction, then uh, you might be able to uh, represent positions which you wouldn't be able to do with your own identity. So that's one thing. But the paradoxical part in this is you're actually uh, uh, part of a construction. So that's if you're part of a construction, that's an act. And if you're if the surrogate surface is in that sense trying to hide or obscure what is behind it, then how does it reveal it more? I mean, if you think of it as a
I
mask.
think
Yeah.
acting is revealing. So even if you're trying to hide, it tells you how you're hiding it. So it reveals a person's, an actor's capability of hiding something even. So it's even in the act of hiding, he's revealing something about himself.
Right.
So I don't know how well it masks a particular actor. See, the act of acting itself it doesn't hide, but it reveals, it tells something about the person. Now, again, I go back
No,
to
but that means
Inder's
that
example.
no, but what you're saying, what that means is that you can, in some ways, judge an actor through the acts that the actor puts on, and which is actually not true. I mean, so an actor who plays the act of a very cruel person, for example, might actually be very kind. So what does it reveal about the actor then?
See, it's both yes and no. It can hide if you want to, or it may reveal. It depends on the actor's intentions, really. And again, what's genuine, as Satya was saying earlier. Now, Inder was mentioning you might act very decent in front of a police, although you might have illegal substances with you. So you might put on an act that way you're hiding something. At the same time, you're revealing the fact that you can get away with a situation like that, and you're adept enough to bring about something to mask the fact that you have some illegal substances with you. So it does both. It reveals and masks depending on what end you're driving at and your intentions. So it's both really. It's not one thing or the other. It's one and the other.
No, but if we were talking, Dave, yesterday about the inability, the impossibility of being able to psychoanalyze the actor, right? So people you can psychoanalyze by considering that they have an insight, that they have a subconscious. But actors, how do you probe into them? Like what lies behind the act for you to be able to read into, right? Is
Intent. As I said, intent. What are you driving at? What is the desired end that you're taking your boat towards? Where is it that you're driving this to? Questions would answer uh, what the artist is up to, basically.
No, that's a very simple process, because in the sense that you want to do something, that's all right. What makes you think you're going to be able to do it? So, or that you are being able to do it. So, the input and the output in this case have no relation. You might have an intent to, save the world, but you might end up ruining it. Right?
Hello.
Yeah. Hi,
Uh,
Inder.
yes.
Huh.
There's the Brecht was using this. I'm thinking about this. What reveals and what hides. Brecht was using the term called alienation effect.
Alienation.
When you, alienation effect is Brechtian terminology.
Hmm.
When an actor purposefully or consciously comes out of the stream of the character, when you're playing a role, and when the actor deliberately comes out and rather shocks the audience that I was not this, while the act was going on, and quickly slips back into the character, a small moment of it. So the
So fourth
alienation
door,
effect
breaking the
was
fourth door.
breaking the continuity, but in a very effective way. So the alienation effect is what I think, what I understand here is that this, what hides and what reveals, is actually a very interesting idea of what actually is a skill. Going the first trigger, because if an actor, let us say a very good actor, can be a very bad person in their life. He may be playing a very let us say the Pran was always a villain, but he must have been a very good person in his own life, a very good helping also people or destitutes and other things. So there can be what is on the stage and what is off the stage. So I don't know what it hides, but I am always saying, I'm always pushing this line, that the mask always adds. Mask doesn't take away things
Acha, acha.
on
So
the stage.
okay, it
Mask
adds.
always adds, doesn't take away the stage. But even if the mask is on, the alienation effects can also creep in, and even if the mask is on, the revealing part can also be there, and the hiding part also can be there. Why we are constantly going into the idea of art? Because art is that faculty which actually enables us to go into those areas where life generally doesn't go. Well, life in a very tight situation, as it is on the ground, doesn't go beyond the acts which we are prepared for that. So if you think, I posted an image at the Surrogate page on the Facebook today of a homeless person on the roadside. If you have seen it,
Yes, the actor is present.
yeah, the actor is present. So I know, because it is very close to our home. There is a person, who's a homeless person. He occupies the abandoned shop. He keeps there a chair and a portly. He goes somewhere during the day, and in the evening comes back and occupies it back. But during the day, you can always feel his presence. You can always feel that
Although he's not there.
he's not there. But he's present there. It is very much open, anybody can go in and out, but even I think the dog which is living closely will not dare to sit on the portly, because the dog also knows that there is somebody, because normally the dogs can go on the car or anybody, because the dog also senses. Even the dog doesn't go into that space because it is now marked. So he is present in the absence even. So I'm saying that what actually they are. That's why I'm constantly going into the term called composite bodies. When I use the word term composite body, I think that the actor as a human body, as the outline, as we understand in a biological way, is not the only thing that operates on ground. It is human body and the tree, human body and the room, human body and the blanket, human body and the shoes, human body and the star, human body and it is always, it's not that human body is the core, but I'm saying in the composite body, the term is basically enabling us to understand the human being more than what we understand by isolating this strand called actor. So the actor must be very very complex term at the depth. If you go deeper into the psyche of the term depth. So the synonyms of the term actor are very very fabulous terms. If you go, like yesterday I posted one.
Yeah, yesterday.
Mimic.
Because it is basically the language. How the synonyms of the term actor takes us to very strange terms. Very strange, and they cover most of our activities. Double face and this thing
So
and that.
your term composite body, in the sense, it makes sense in the idea that the mask always adds.
Yes.
Because if you think of the body and the mask, in terms of matter, the mask is adding.
Always adding, because adding beyond our calculations. Because you don't know how you look. The moment you put a mask on your face, you really don't know how it actually operates in the because you are behind the mask. There is always actually I go back to the Socratean thing. When Socrates was drinking hemlock at the last point when he was going to die, he is saying to his friend Crito that Crito, now I am drinking hemlock, and now I see the mask merging with the face. That means even Socrates also was constantly conscious of this thing, that as long as he was alive, there was a
He was
mask.
putting on a mask. Yeah.
He was not putting on. The mask is inevitable. The mask is inevitable because the language itself is mask. Because the moment we
Right, but the way we can work with language, for example, the least we can do is try and be precise with language, right? So we can
even if even
Language.
yeah, even if you see, we try to be precise. Whether you shave or you keep a beard, whether you make a haircut or you keep a long hair, whatever you do is
it's
precise.
there.
It is precise.
Yeah.
It's not. You are not adding anything more than what is given. But whatever we do is part of this some sort of a communicative language. It's a sinology. So
Yeah, but do you think we
But
can
language-
configure it or not?
Totally, and it's
we
manipulative
can.
also.
Of course, we can. We are free to do what we want to do. But the problem is that just too many structures are operating upon us. Whatever we do, even if we become ascetic, we will be marked. For example, if you go in Haridwar, you will be marked. Yes, wo to sadhu ban gaya. If you try to break some other kind of a territory, you will be quickly marked with some
So
terminology.
like what you've been saying just now, that really paints a very complex picture for me, in the sense that we always have two of us to deal with. So one is our face and one is the mask. So in
Yeah,
that
but we don't.
sense,
That's true. That's true. But we
so
don't know
there is
what.
always two of us, and that makes it complex in the sense it's not just us that we can deal with. We also have to deal with the projection. We also have to deal with the mask, because
Constant.
that is equally a part of us.
Yeah, that's what Shringara is. Even in an Indian rasa system, we have the Shringar. What is Shringar basically? Shringar is actually this an effort to make a very celebratory departure of what we are.
Right.
Shringara. It is it's a celebration of the departure of us into something which
We-
celebrate colors, compositions, decoration, and all that, right? So the
But
Shringar is not.
the question being, Shringar ke baad, are we departing from who we are? We just established earlier that masks only add and doesn't take away.
Yeah, this is
So we're not
departure
departing.
from depart. For example, my name is Inder Salim. It was not given the name to me by my father. I made it. I gave it to myself to make a departure from what I was. So similarly, we always keep on departing. The departure is, I think that's why I was one of my posts earlier about the same conversation was that actor is a departure. The departure and departure. The actor first uses mask, then the stage, then the text, then the other actor comes, then the audience. There are constant departures of actor. Then the architecture, then the effects, then tears, then something else.
So the act is always an accident. It can never be. So I mean, what I'm saying is eventually, even if you think of the actor as a composite system, there is a face and there is a mask and all that. But for the audience, for the witness, so we are actually slipping into our a third trigger. So for the witness, there is only one thing. There is a unified act, in the sense, whatever is being enacted, that is one experience for me. So unlike the actor system, which might be composite, for the witness, it is one experience. Now in this unified experience, how do you discern between different things? So in the sense that you were just talking about, so and so I have some further things about the witness, but I would just like to maybe end stop here for now, which is, so if you think of the witness and the unified experience of the witness, then what does it do to the to the maybe fragmented or the multiple experience of the actor?
See, it's like shadow puppetry. Would you want to follow the narrative that's going on, or figure out how it's done, the lights and the puppets, and decipher it down and then reason and break the whole illusion of
No,
the
no, but
narrative?
see, as an actor who is concerned with the act, you don't really have a choice. You have to figure out what's happening, because otherwise your act is only going to work accidentally. So if you don't know actually what is operating to for the witness to experience the act through the multiples of your face and your mask and all that, if you don't really know what's happening, then you are saying that you are relying on the act working as an accident only. So
There are multiple parallels. A, you might not know. B, you might know, you wouldn't care. C, you might not know, and you would probe and figure out as to how it's unfolding. So you would know as you go along, right?
but
So
do you know? I mean, that's what that's what we are trying to get at. That if it's like you're working on your face, you're working on your mask, and then something is happening, and that unified something that happens, you don't have access to that, because this idea has actually destabilized the idea of the flat surface of the act. So now it's not the flat surface, it's two surfaces, right? The mask and the surrogate, and the and the self, in that sense, the face and the mask, both are present, and we don't really know at this point, through these multiples, how does the singular act emerge and how does it work. Sam, would you like to come in? Or you have audio problems, or can you hear us? Okay.
Here, Prayas, I think when we talk of mask and face binary, we are actually again going into some sort of problem zone. So for me, the face has very little to do something with the skin of the body. Face must be like a term, but we really don't know what is face. Like there's one of these the Gandhi is holding the mask. But the Gandhi mask itself a mask on the person who is holding here, right? So we have a kind of a mirror, reflective mirror, endlessly. So we really don't know how to touch the face. But to arrive at the idea of face, we have no choice but to keep on working with the masks, right?
Right.
why is the mask necessary?
Mask is language. See, the moment we use the language, for example, we are, what Derrida is also saying, that we are nothing but translations or mediators. What does it mean? That we have no choice but to keep on shuffling between masks. From one mask to another mask to another mask. And I know one. I read the Italian group who were playing Shakespeare for many years. When after 50 years they went to London and encountered the original text Shakespeare. They saw the original of the Shakespeare very very ordinary. They saw the Italian version, which we are playing for 50 years, is more accurate and authentic than the English one. So you are sometimes used to particular kind of translation. We don't know. For example, we really don't know what is
No,
mainstream.
so Inder, what is the you were talking about the problems, the problematic space that you are going into by talking about the binaries of the face and the mask. But
Yeah.
how do we find our way out of that? Because to my mind, the moment we had these multiples, so are you saying that the multiples are not there? It's a unified.
Multiples are there. That's why the complexity of masks is the multiples.
But the
It is
multiples are not the
we are
face and the mask, you're saying.
no multiple. See, the mask
They
and the
are the
face is not
masks.
the question. It is basically the face is the horizon. Face is not in your hands kind of thing. It is the more you go towards face, it recedes. What you have in the closet, what you have in your drawing room, what you have your architecture on the stage and language, songs is all masks. And we are trying to go towards the horizon. And the moment we go, it recedes. That is basically what we are. That's why it is so enigmatic.
I think we ought to use our words carefully, because masks could
Yeah.
also mean mediums, right? It could be
We are.
mediums.
That's what I'm saying. The language is a medium.
Because
When
mask
we are
could also
communicating.
imply something that you put up so that you can hide the real you or something. There is multiple connotations actually of a mask.
I already said that the term mask is a very bad term in society, but every person is coming out with a particular mask when they go to work, right?
A role.
There is no other way.
It's role playing.
There is no other way. We are only using the term. We should not be actually tricked by the term mask.
Mask, yeah.
That's why I'm interested in the synonyms of the terms.
Right.
There is a one chapter by Jean-Paul Sartre. It was the name of the chapter was I owe my expression to the sumptuousness of terms and phrases. Right.
So we can call it the interface. We can call the mask actually as
Interface
the
is
interface,
great, yeah.
because you have the face and then you have the interface, and it's and
Medium
you
to
don't try
communicate.
to you don't try to name it at all.
Yeah, of course we may not name it, but I'm saying that when the moment we work from one language to another language or one genre to another genre, there is some time zone actually tricks us. When we understand I love you, or you say even Shanti word is not translating the peace. So the time zone actually tricks us. It is this in between zone, which is actually the silent zone, where we are unable to do anything. That's what it's not. It is not. It is basically that's what I go back to Arato. We're saying it is the desolation of the thought. Whatever we may do,
It's the
but
end of thought.
we are inadequate. Inadequate in the sense that it is a deep kind of an anguish, existential anguish, that we don't know how to resolve this. We are trying to shuffle, but it is not basically some sort of a frustration. It is not basically some sort of a cynicism.
It's a
even.
limitation.
It is a very profound. It is a profound understanding of that what we are, and the larger
So
idea of where we are.
what you are saying in
It is too
the
complex.
what you are saying is whatever we might be is
Mm.
is some part of the picture,
Insufficient.
but not the whole picture.
But yes, exactly. It can never be full, never,
Yeah.
because the face is always the face is the horizon. Let us I'm also working on the term.
Yeah,
The
I
face
mean,
is the horizon.
I find this very interesting point to pause actually, because if the face being the horizon makes so much.
It's a very
makes-
liberating thought for me, really.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense to me in the sense
Correct.
that the face or the idea of the self as being the sought after and the unattainable, but which through the interface is always being sought.
Negotiated.
And it's negotiated, and in that sense it configures the interface as well as the seeking for the face. So it dramatizes the whole process actually. It adds a lot of movement, movement. Yeah.
I like the term dramatizes, because if we don't use the word dramatizes, we may be using some very dysfunctional term. I'm interested in the word in the dramatization of it, because that takes away the panic of us. Otherwise, to be very panicky. Panicky means that we are not able to understand who we are. But if we use the term dramatization, that is basically then becomes more celebratory, participatory. Then we know we are inadequate, but it is drama. The life is a drama. That's what Shakespeare actually ends up. That we
Yeah,
know
I
it is
mean,
inadequate.
at this point, I'm actually able to understand the statement that life is a drama. I think for the first time only now, in that, in that sense that it's a drama because
Life's a stage.
yeah, it's a drama because it's a movement in which you're seeking your face, and that seeking for the face configures the interface, and the interface negotiates the seeking in a way that allows you to even go towards the horizon, like in the you said. So it actually makes it like it makes it like a process in itself. It doesn't need anything more. Just I think
That's our
just see,
propeller.
just
Propels us into
seeking
the
your
future.
face is enough.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining in. Sam, we didn't hear your voice today, but I guess you must be doing other stuff. But I hope you can all join in tomorrow. Again, we start at 9 p.m. Yeah, thank you. Tomorrow is the last day of Surrogate Surfaces, so we'll be having the last session. Thanks a lot. Good night.
Thanks, Prayas. Thank you, Inder.
Good night.
Bye,
Yeah,
Sam.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
thanks.